There's no address.
No.
Okay.
Then you need to call my mother.
I already did that and I spoke to your brother also. That's why these two recommendations were made.
Why in the hell would I go to Waterbury?
Where do you want to go then, Darren?
You need to lower your voice, partner.
I gotta make sure you can hear me because we're on video here. I have to speak up so I can hear you and you can hear me. I'm not
Where can you
raising my
put me? I
voice.
haven't done anything. All that court and stuff in court was thrown out. It was knowledge and non-judicial discharge.
Correct. And we're not that. She wants to know where you want to be housed. You wanted me to speak to your mother and speak to your brother, and I did. And these are the two options they gave me. Do you have a preferential place you want to be placed at? You can't go with your mother and you can't go with your brother. I spoke to them like you asked me to.
So where the hell am I supposed to go?
We are about to watch a parole revocation hearing, and I gotta warn you, the end of it is startling. I actually wasn't paying it. I wasn't ready for it, and I jumped at it like sure. So if you're drinking anything hot, just put it down. Let's jump in.
Okay, we're here for your revocation hearing. So we're gonna get started with that. Good morning, I'm P.O. Meisier, hearing examiner for the Board of Pardons and Paroles. This is our revocation hearing concerning Sims Derek, number 300-964. Today's March 12th, 2024. This hearing is being conducted via video at the BOP Central Office in Osborne Correctional Institution. This is a public hearing. Public access to this hearing is available via video live stream. Can you please state to me your full name and DOC inmate number for the record?
Derek Sims,
And what's your inmate number?
300-964.
Your counsel here today, you can identify yourself.
Sure. Attorney Alfonso Sorrento, public defender with the parole revocation unit on behalf of Mr. Clemens this morning.
This is a revocation hearing to determine whether you have violated the conditions of your release. I will review, make findings of fact with each of the charges against you. The state, not you, has responsibility to prove the allegations by a preponderance of evidence, that is, the better weighted evidence must establish that more probable than not the allegation is true. If I do not find there is a preponderance of evidence to support a violation of one or more conditions of your parole, I'll reinstate your parole, which is releasing and placing back on parole supervision. If I find you violate one or more conditions of your parole, I will consider whether or not your parole should be revoked. If I recommend revocation, I'll make recommendation as to appropriate sanction, and my recommendation will be given to a panel for a final decision. If the panel wishes to impose a sanction beyond my recommendation, a supplemental hearing would be provided to justify additional confinement. So this is the procedure for today's hearing. I'm going to read you your rights. Then we're going to review the parole violation charge, state your appeal is bringing against you. I will review and identify exhibits filed for the record. Counsel will then have an opportunity to present relevant testimony. After considering all the evidence presented, I will announce my findings. If I find you violate one or more conditions of your parole, counsel will have an opportunity to speak to you background history. Do you have any questions about the purpose or procedure?
No.
You have important rights at this hearing, which I will now review with you. Right to have an attorney present, you have counsel here. You have right to receive the written notice charged in a violation. Did you receive the written notice? You have right to view the evidence against you before this hearing. Right to submit evidence in support of your case. At this hearing, you have right to call and examine voluntary witnesses or cross-examine diverse witnesses. Do you understand these rights and are you ready to go forward?
No.
So we'll now review the charge, state your appeal is bringing against you. In reason underlying each charge, so charge one, obey all laws of each law. Your charging officer reported on 10/30/23. You were arrested on a warrant from Connecticut State Police charging you with disorderly conduct, threatening second, some incident on 10/13/23. On 10/13/23, CSP responded to Open Heart Halfway House located in Charter Oak Ave in Hartford for reports of threats. Upon arrival, police spoke to the victim. A Halfway House staff employee reported you threatened to beat him to death. The victim reported that you threatened the staff person, stating you would fuck him up, put him through a wall, and beat him to death. Staff reported that while you were making threats to kill the staff person, you stepped towards the victim in an aggressive manner. You appeared in court on the charge of disorderly conduct, threatening second, and you were convicted of threatening second-degree physical threat, in which you received unconditional discharge. And the charge of disorderly conduct was nolly. Charge two, under some conditions halfway house placement, your charging officer reported on 10/30/23. You were arrested on a warrant from Connecticut State Police charging you with disorderly conduct, threatening second, semi-criminal incident at 10/13/23. And 10/13/23, Connecticut State Police responders Open Heart Halfway House located at Hartford, Connecticut for reports of threats. Upon arrival, police spoke to the victim. A Halfway House staff employee reported you threatened to beat him to death. The victim reported you threatened the staff person, stating you would fuck him up and put him through the wall and beat him to death. Staff report that while you're making threats to kill the staff person, you step towards the victim in an aggressive manner. You violate halfway house condition. I will treat others with respect and not engage in physical or physical altercations with others by person, staff, or third parties. In the state has filed the following exhibit pre-marked for identification purposes as exhibit A, agreement in actual custody, B, notice of parole violation, C, parole violation report, D, parole conditions, E, halfway house conditions, F, arrest warrant application, Connecticut State Police case number ending 8711. G is DRMV case defendant lookup docket ending in 172-S, and H is 3 open heart halfway house inch report stating 1323. Did you receive notice of parole violation report, and other documents I marked? Did you review them?
He did.
And council filed the following exhibits pre-marked for identification purposes. That's exhibit 1, list of parole accomplishments and future plans for parole reinstatements. Do you need to continue the hearing to obtain any additional evidence?
No.
Okay, we have no witnesses, so now defense opportunity. If you'd like to speak at this time.
Yes, I just make some comments regarding, so Mr. Sims had a previous violation, technical violation where he was given 3.5 months. He was due to be re-paroled. So my client has actually been incarcerated. I know he was remanded on this particular one on 2/9/24, but he's actually been incarcerated since October 26th of 2023. The charge, this charge number 1, obedience to law, in my case that I represented him on today, was from an incident that occurred on October 13th of 2023. And then in warrant, he was arrested by the state police on October 30th. That obedience to the law charge at the previous hearings, there was no finding made because it was not part of the parole violation report. So this is
It was not taken into consideration.
correct. It's that conduct that already occurred. I understand he was not charged with the criminal aspect of it at that time, but it was dealt with at the previous hearing with the program participation to do with the same incident. So this is the same incident from the past. No, not new conduct is what I'm trying to put on the record. So my client has been incarcerated since October 26th of 2023. You did correctly put the disposition on the record. You received an unconditional discharge on the threatening second, and the disorderly conduct was not. So I just want to clarify that for the first part of the hearing.
Do you have the other violation?
Yes, I have it. Attorney Doyle represented him. It was disposed on. He got just a 3.5 month sanction. As I indicated though in the summary of the previous, the status on the I'm not sure why that indicated this incident occurred on October 13th. He was remanded on October 26th. Why it was not dealt with at the time? It's still that incident from the previous violation, and then he was remanded again. I'm sure my records indicate February 9th of 2024. So he was never released. They did a warrant for the incident at the halfway house. Once again, this is the same conduct that was dealt with, in my opinion, on the previous one. Obviously, when there's a warrant by the state police, it turns into an obedience to the law. That's what he's here for today.
So I'll be right with you.
Did you make finding yet?
No, not yet. I just wanted to check. So I am going to announce my findings. So on charge 1, I do find you violate the state of bail laws of use of law based on your conviction of threatening second. Proceed to sentence to unconditional discharge. Also based on exhibit C, F, and G. On charge 2, I do find you violate additional board condition after placement based on the evidence provided, exhibits A, E, F, and H. So that includes the fact finding portion of the hearing. Before I make a recommendation, council will have an opportunity to give background on the history. This perfect part of the hearing is something outcome I would recommend. So if you'd like to.
Yes, we have Mr. Symes. I am respectfully requesting he be reinstated at the next board review based on what I just put on the record. He's been incarcerated since October 26th 2023. He was given the previous sanction. He was remanded again, so he was never released. He's been incarcerated on this one since February 9th. So he served that 3.5-month sanction on the technical violation. The disposition from court here was a unconditional discharge. My client, he's 50 years old. On his previous release, he was self-sponsored in Manchester, and then he was at the Open Hearth Halfway House program in Hartford, and he also spent some time in IOL in Hartford. Looks like he did begin studying English in Manchester Community College, and he does aspire to major in psychology. He did report to us, worked for a security guard for Green Mountain Concert Services, also was employed at Outback Steakhouse, Applebee's, and he is a cook in a convalescent home in South Windsor for approximately 2 years. As far as plans for reinstatement, he would like to be placed in a halfway house in Waterbury or the New Haven area due to proximity.
Yeah. I don't live anywhere near Waterbury, New Haven.
But that's what we discussed, Derek.
We did not discuss that. I don't live anywhere near Waterbury or New Haven. I have no ties with Waterbury or New Haven.
Where do you want to go?
Oh,
Doesn't have home.
There's no address.
So
Okay.
then you need to call my mother.
I already did that, and I spoke to your brother also. That's why these 2 recommendations were made.
Why in the hell would I go to Waterbury?
Where do you want to go then, Derek?
You need to lower your voice, partner.
I gotta make sure you can hear me because we're on video here. I have to speak up so I can hear you and you can hear me. I'm not
Where can you
raising my
put me? I
voice.
haven't done anything. All that court and stuff in court was thrown out. It was nollied and non-judicial discharge.
Correct. And we're not that. She wants to know where you want to be housed. You wanted me to speak to your mother and speak to your brother, and I did. And these are the 2 options they gave me. Do you have a preferential place you want to be placed at? You can't go with your mother and you can't go with your brother. I spoke to them like you asked me to.
So where the hell am I supposed to go?
You have to go, we have to place you somewhere. We need to know what area.
What part of the state? That's why you asked me to do something, Derek. I did reach out to your
I
family.
never even spoke to you.
I spoke to you on the telephone 2 times. You did speak to me. Last time I spoke to you was February 27th. I have those in my file.
I don't recall that. I'm just being honest with you.
Okay, no, that's fine. But she's asking you, we want to know where you want to be placed. She wants to place you somewhere so I can get you out.
I don't even know anybody in Waterbury.
Well, you don't have to go to Waterbury. Where do you want to go? What area?
In the Hartford area.
Hartford. Okay. Okay.
And where would that be?
I don't know. I'm not the field officer, so I don't know where you'd be placed. But if you want to go to the Hartford area, we can look to place you in the Hartford area.
But where would I be placed is what I mean.
I'm telling you, I don't have that information. It'd be a halfway house, most likely.
But I can't go back to the Open Hearth.
There's other halfway houses.
Where I need to get out of here today.
You're not leaving today.
When will I be leaving?
That's what we're going to get to. We're going to continue, and then you're going to know. All right. Do you have anything else you'd like to
No, that's it. Like I said, he asked me to speak to his family members. I did. So, but I put on the record what I needed to put regarding the disposition in court and how long Mr. Simons has been incarcerated for.
Okay, thank you. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I know there's the prior violation, as well as the new conviction for the threatening second. So I am going to make a recommendation that parole be revoked and that he be re-paroled for May 9th, 2024. It's about a 3-month period confinement as a sanction. Since what ends up being about 6.5 months from the 10/26/23 date. I recommend the following parole conditions: halfway house placement, no consumption of alcoholic beverages, no contact with victim IM and KJ, a general no contact with Colleen Mahanahan and Elizabeth Russell, behavior management program for domestic violence, problem sexual behavior treatment, mental health evaluation, no contact with minors. I'm going to present the case to the board March 21st. So the board's going to vote on when you get out on March 21st. And then we're going to have the parole board. I'm going to present you to the parole board on March 21st. And then
March
they're gonna,
21st.
yes, that's the day I have to present your case to the parole board. And then they're gonna give you your parole date. Okay?
You mean when am I leaving?
Well, May 9th is the recommended date. So the parole board's gotta vote, the parole board's gonna vote next week on the 21st.
You're kidding me.
That concludes the hearing. You're all set, sir.
Go fuck yourself.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you, but I got to tell you, he must have no idea how this system works, because the parole revocation board he just saw, they only make recommendations to the official board. So they were only going to give him like a 1-month penalty, not even a slap on the wrist. It's more like a little, but the parole board that's going to see him in 2 days at the time of this recording, March 21st, and I'll bring it to you. I'll show you the results in the next upload. They might just hook him up. I really hope they do. They should punish him. He's backing on his special parole. He's backing up until they can give him a couple of years or more. Let me just pull it up, and thank you, Richard, for the information, up until 2026. So instead of just spending a month in prison, they can back him up until 12/14/2026, and I hope they do. His initial crime is, which somehow he only got like a slap on the wrist, but are we surprised? In March of 2017, he was charged and put on bond of $250,000 for a sexual assault case involving a child. They didn't say how young the child was, but his charges were risk of injury to a child, illegal sexual contact, and disorderly conduct. And he really, again, only served, let's go through his criminal record. 2016, he got 90 days in jail for second-degree harassment, violation of probation. Then after that, third-degree assault in 2016, 1 year jail, guilty of 5321A, which was risk of injury to a child, which was the sexual assault. He got sentenced to 4 years jail, special parole 6 years. That's this current charge that he's on. So he's backing that. He's on special parole right now. All he got was 4 years for that, because why? It's just a child, what's the big deal? 10/30/2023, which is, I think, what he was arrested for this charge, although I'm not quite sure, but that's 2 physical threats, sentencing, unconditional discharge. It could be that this is just another additional charge. So he's clearly extremely dangerous. He's unhinged. He has no self-control. Someone like this cannot be in society, a danger to society, and people need to see this. And this is part of why we do this, because if we see the parole not hook him up for his full sentence, I don't know what more proof you need of how broken and dangerous the system is. But hopefully he just dug his own grave. I mean, you saw the way he's even talking to his own attorney. It's like, are you kidding me? Call my mother? His poor mother. It's like, you're not a child. The way it's just, you can't make this stuff up. The dude's in his 50s. So anyways, there you have it. I'll bring back the updated case for you. So hang in there. And with that, I'll let you go.